Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People, and this morning I would like to respond to this by Foxy. It's Fox. Eric, could you please give a brief history of how Talking with Famous People got started? Sure, I would like to do that. There is a retrospective that's available. I'll link it in the video, and that goes over it. But I want to talk about it sort of freely for a bit because it it's like one of the favorite questions anybody could ever ask of me. This Talking with Famous People group is a closed group. If you'd like to join it, we'd love to have you if you are somebody who doesn't just want to destroy things. So, ask to join the group and I will approve you or somebody else will. And it's cool. It's fun. Anyway, Lisa Fox. Lisa Fox is a person that is a friend of my first wife's from a long time ago. And I hadn't talked to her in who knows how long, probably 15 years or something. But she was a Facebook friend, I guess. And so one day I saw a post from her, and it popped up in where she lives, like Montebello or something like that. And I looked at her Facebook page, and it said that she lived in Korea and that she was teaching over there. So I was like, she's back from Korea for a visit or something. It said she was single on her Facebook page. I was like, I'm gonna ask her out and try to hit it and quit it, so to speak, because then she's gonna go back to Korea. Well, turns out that her Facebook page hadn't been updated in a long time, that she actually lived down there in the LA area with her boyfriend. And so I was like, okay, cool. Thanks anyway, or whatever. But the crazy thing was, it turns out she was a watcher of Talking with Famous People, and I had no idea. So I thought that was really cool, and she's posted in the group periodically, and she's active in the community. Although she's only come on, she came on and talked with us in the room for a while, once or twice. But she mostly is a participant that is participates in other ways. Anyway, I appreciate the question, Lisa. Thank you for asking, and I will give you the answer. Talking with Famous People is first and foremost a self-actualization tool for me, or it was. It's not so much anymore because uh, it's largely done its work on me that it needs to do. It's not run its course, but as a mechanism of self-awareness for me, it's kind of. I'm sure it has plenty more to teach me, but the bulk of the damage that I was expressing, I no longer express anymore. So in that regard, that's what Talking with Famous People started out as. Is I had spent a number of years with my second wife not really making anything, not making any media, not expressing myself much, and slowly starting to drink more and more alcohol. And when I quit drinking alcohol, I found that the alcohol had essentially been a replacement for creating things. And that when I tried to do both, be drinking and creating, that my second wife would shut that shit down. She didn't want me expressing myself. It was too risky from an FE perspective, from her perspective. So as a consequence, I basically never made anything when I was drinking, when I was with Candace, and at least after the very beginning. At the very beginning, I was making stuff because I was at the very beginning of the relationship, not really drinking. I was a meth addict, and but being a meth addict was a lot better than being a drunk. I got a lot of stuff done being a meth addict. However, to her, that established that getting stuff done correlated with bad things, and for her, my drinking was not as bad as the meth addiction because it was more predictable. For most of the drinking time, I was able to. It was pretty sustainable, I guess. Anyway, when I quit drinking, I had within me a desperate need to express myself that I didn't realize was there, and also a desperate fear about expressing myself because my second wife, Candace, had really got me thinking a lot about how everything I said, all the ways in which somebody might respond badly to it. And so I I had I'd been gaslighted a bit, though not intentionally by her, um, into this hypersensitivity about others' perceptions that handicapped me, but that was reinforced by the fact that I was drinking, and so I knew that I might have said something stupid when I was drunk. I don't remember, or I might say some stupid shit when I'm drunk that I don't well, that I'll end up regretting. So I should just sort of shut down. Anyhow, after I quit, I started making a couple videos. I uploaded a video of Rappin' Eric, which is a song that I made back a long time ago, and a couple other music videos, things like that. One day I made a cartoon called Talking to Famous People cartoon. And, it's like it's like a procession of still images of drawings and stuff. And it was the first episode of Talking to Famous People because it's the first time I ever said, "Hi, I'm Eric." I don't think I even called myself. I'm your host, Eric. I think I said, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. It was a joke. I thought it was a funny name for like a talk show. It actually described what the talk show is. And then I pretended to interview Pucker Tart Lemon Squeeze and International Delight, the famous people that I was interviewing. But what at the same time, what I wanted to do was actually interview people who just regular people. I had a couple ideas about how I might be able to build an audience and stuff along those lines, but it was very difficult to find people to interview. So, after a stretch of time where I was making a bunch of philosophy talk videos where I just sort of mused about philosophical concepts without really concern for viewer experience, I began to try to pursue some of those interviews. I did some of those interviews. At first, they were audio only because I was in the habit of working with audio and not in the habit of working with video. And then eventually, I started doing video as well. And once I started doing video, that was because I had gotten GoToMeeting for autonomy debate school, and because I had gotten GoToMeeting for autonomy debate school, I had a video conferencing platform. I started using that when I would put up a I started putting up a video on YouTube that said, "Hey, I'm in this room. If you come here, I would like to interview you." And increasingly as time passed, because I learned that the videos that that got the best viewership were MBTI's videos, I started making more of those, and it's what they call an evergreen topic on YouTube. And I found that the interviews and stuff started becoming not interviews as I envisioned them, which was sort of me asking about people's values and basics of their life and what they thought was important and stuff like that. And it became more about typology. Then eventually Zachary came into the mix. Host Zachary was an INTP from Kentucky, and he still is an INTP from Kentucky. He hasn't died. And he encouraged the group thing. He's the one who said, "Look, Eric, you keep trying to say, I don't want a group. I want to talk to people one-on-one, but the group thing is what other people want, and so you should embrace that." So I did embrace that, and that made a big difference. From that point forward, we'd get increasingly in bursts, and it would go up and down, different populations of people starting to hang out when I'd announced these things. The big change that made Talking with Famous People into two entities, namely a Raw Live entity and the main channel, was the addition of the Always Open room. So I enlisted the assistance of Tiffany to create a system that would allow a room of GTM, GoToMeeting, to be constantly recorded and uploaded to YouTube as close to real time as possible in about 15-minute chunks. I had this idea that I wanted to see implemented, and he said he could do it, so I paid him to do it. I had more money then, and he ended up stealing the work product when we had it falling out, which I would be mad about, except I'm embarrassed for him. Anyway, so once the raw room was up and running, I thought to myself, well, this is a good idea. It's on its way to my grand vision of Magic Sky Friend, of having every moment of my life recorded so that every conversation everybody ever has, if there's a disagreement later, well, you said blah, blah, no, I didn't say blah, 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 I said blah, blah, blah. Go, Magic Sky Friend, who was right? And it tells you. So, that's kind of what the raw channel is. Anyway, as I proceeded through my experience of talking with famous people, um, I have changed immensely as a human being. What I've come to understand is that after I quit drinking, what I needed more than anything else was to be able to be myself and to be affirmed for it. So there were key, crucial aspects of myself that my second wife actively discouraged. And that did more harm to me than I really understood. I needed to be able to express myself freely, and I needed others to say at least that it's okay. What I didn't realize at first was what I really needed was affirmation. I needed people to say, I like you. You're doing something good. I think your thing was good. Here's some praise for you, Eric. I got a lot of that finally. It took a while. I had to hone my shit to make it more likable, to make it more worth liking. Um, when I'd happen upon a video that worked well, I'd watch it a lot and try to figure out what made it work. And I eventually felt satiated, like I was finally able to engage with the world in the way that I wanted to, engage with the world with others on their terms. So I'm not asking them to come look at what I've made, which I historically have had to do. I had to impose upon family and friends to be an audience because I didn't really have a forum for that kind of stuff. To the extent that I made things before. When I was doing the Pop Goes Lethal stuff, I was very much interested in getting people in my life to acknowledge me, and I didn't get that. It made me kind of bitter. Having experienced life as the center of attention in a way that allows me to also remove myself from being the center of attention at will is liberating. It's actualizing. It's what an HP wants and needs. And society tells us we're not supposed to do that. Oh, you just want attention is denigrative, as though there's something wrong with it. Oh, you just want praise is denigrative, as though there's something wrong with it. It's my nature to want attention and praise. Now, the thing about it is, if one exists in a life environment in which one is subject to sufficient affirmation and acknowledgement from strangers, from one's peers, and from one's friends, then it ceases to be an active need. And so, to the extent that those things display as insecurities, it ceases to do so. That's way more than answer than the question you asked. But I wanted to go into it because the question you asked prompted me to spend a lot of time thinking about that. Eric, could you please give a brief history of how Talking to People got started? That's how it got started, and that was what it was for. Now it's for something else. Now it is for advocating a discursive approach in terms of understanding systems and logical stuff in the world, and advocating a duality, a pro-duality position on relationships. That each of us ought to seek out a dual, our dual, in order to be fulfilled. Because while talking with famous people healed me considerably and made me a better person considerably, there was nevertheless very much aspects of my life that remained problematic and seriously problematic because I sought my dual and had not found her yet. And now that I have found her, I find myself seeing things and knowing things that once I would have mocked and considered absurd. You know, it is true that the right person will complete you. And the right YouTube channel will help. So thanks for watching Talking with Famous People. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese and help me become a world famous typology expert by sharing my videos on Facebook with your friends and relatives and stuff like that. And also, please visit the shop. There are free PDFs in the PDF section. There are also some you got to pay for. If you don't want to pay for them, get some free ones. You might as well. They're free. They won't be free forever. Also, you can get a sticker for just $5 small that includes shipping, and you can put it on your laptop or your face. Anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. As I said, I'm sorry to repeat it, but you are very forgetful, so that's why you need the extra reminder.